But you have to kind of like lay on your sword and do cringy things. You have to climb Cringe Mountain, honestly. You have to climb Cringe Mountain and you're free.
Yeah.
You are free from like, if you don't stop caring if people are screenshotting your stories and putting them in a group chat, you'll feel so alive.
God, we should start a group or a live performance night called Cringe Mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's not called the Melbourne International Comedy Festival anymore. It's called Cringe Mountain.
It's just
because that's all it is. Please come to my show.
Exactly.
Please help me pay my rent.
Cool ways of showing that they don't give a shit about their ticket sales and they're not refreshing it every 2 seconds. They're saying, my shows are selling fast, better get in quick. No, they're refreshing and they're freaking out and they're going, oh God.
Hello and welcome to How to Do Everything, a podcast in which I, young Tommy Dasilo, am attempting to assemble a complete guidebook to the human experience by chatting with different guest experts every week about how to do everything. Today on the show, Melanie Bracewell teaches me how to climb Cringe Mountain, how to get someone out of your house, and how to chase up a free meal. Thank you to everyone who came and saw my show Main Character in Melbourne. I had a great run. I had an awesome time doing the show. It is now heading to Brisbane on May the 10th and Sydney on May the 17th. Get your tickets now at tommydasilo.com. A reminder that all of these episodes are on YouTube if you want to watch the video of these episodes. And if you're doing that right now, you'll be seeing me doing this in sort of a test scenario of my new recording setup in a new studio that I've moved into, a new little office. So that's why that looks weird, in case you were wondering. But let's get on with it. Today on the show, Melanie Bracewell. You know her from The Cheap Seats. You know her from Have You Been Paying Attention? You know her from her tour, A Little Treat, which is on right now. Great chat with Melanie. We talk about climbing Cringe Mountain in the world of show business and putting yourself out there. We talk about having people stay at your house for way longer than you anticipated, and we talk about how to suppress your competitive, aggressive urges in your professional life, in your personal life, in your sporting life. This is a super fun chat. I'm a huge fan of Melanie Bracewell, and I think you'll really enjoy this episode too. So here we go. How to Do Everything with Melanie Bracewell. Thank you for bearing with me.
Oh, man. No, it was my pleasure to watch you plug in things and move things. It was
so
nice.
Often this show just represents the intersection of two different types of ADHD coming together. One person's late, another person can't find the building. I'm here trying to turn the cameras on.
Well, you had said, hey, there's some construction in the area. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm sure it's just like, I've got to drive 30 Ks an hour around the studio. But what you actually have is sort of a construction-based moat that does not allow you access unless I've had to find a guy to let me over, I had to scale, I had to go over a rope to get here. So.
I got an email this morning that was like, oh, hey, for your booking today, here's the instructions for how to navigate the street. And I just felt like I was reading hieroglyphics. It was now walk up the south side of the street. I'm like, my dad does that. My dad will go he'll give directions based on the compass, and it's like, can't just tell me what shop is on that side of the street.
I would say it's generous calling it a street at the moment. It's not a street. They've dug the whole thing up. It's,
it really is like
it's a wasteland.
You've been to Rome, haven't you? It's like when you walk past those bits where because the thing I thought was cool about Rome is that it's you barely see any modern buildings. It is all truly you're in this old city. Yeah. And my friend was telling me, who lives there, what that basically is every now and then they'll start to dig up a spot to build a new building, and then they find a skerrick of an old ruin. And once that's there, they can't do anything more.
Protected for life.
And they only turn it into a proper touristy thing. Some company has to then come in and pay for the proper excavation and sort of, preservation of the site. And so you have all these spots where you walk past where it's just just a big hole, just a big hole that's fenced off where you can kind of see the top of a roof of a building where they've been going to set up a supermarket and just gone, all right, boys, we got to abandon the trucks. This one's.
But this street has that vibe without the heritage. So you just go, that used to be a 2-hour parking zone.
Yeah.
If you were here I guess 3 days ago.
Yeah, this used to be the beautiful front of a tram depot.
Yeah, exactly.
And we needed to make sure that road was nicely paved and constructed. Heaven forbid that people have a bit of a bumpy ride as they're doing a lap of the tram depot to get a look at it from all angles.
And they've realised that they should have turned left earlier.
Yeah.
And so they come down this road to do a safer U-turn. We want to make sure that's smooth. We want that to be like ice. Yeah.
But thank you for doing this. I will say up front, I'm a little tired today. My partner is away for the week, and I like to think of myself, as an adult. We're heading into the comedy festival, and I kind of thought like, this week, get your exercise in, eat well. It is amazing how quickly I just completely fall into the bin when I'm at home unsupervised without my partner around. The
problem you've had is that you have said what you were going to do out loud. So the issue is, it's like when you say to someone, the partner's away, probably going to do a workout, people go, well done. And you get the same endorphins saying when they said well done that you don't do the workout.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
I had that at the hotel. I was like, I might try the hotel gym. People are like, oh, good on you, traveling and going to the gym. I went, I am pretty good, aren't I? I deserve to not go to the gym.
I feel like putting the gym clothes in the bag. Yeah. As long as they come out once. I was talking to someone about this yesterday. I feel like at home I need to be like working out every day to feel like I'm doing a good job. But on holiday it counts for like 7 times the amount. So if I go once, it's like that sustains me for 5 days. I went for a run on a holiday. As long as the exercise gear has justified its place in the suitcase once, then
totally
nothing else matters.
I did 20 push-ups in my hotel room and thought, what a Chad I am.
20. Was that when you went down there, was that the plan to do 20? Or
no,
was
I just did it in my room because I didn't actually pack enough like proper exercise gear. I kind of was like, I was weighing up whether I work out in my pajama shorts. And I was like, oh, it feels too awkward. I'll just do like a little bit here. Yeah. And I thought, can I still do 20 push-ups? I found out I could. And I thought, well done. I'm done.
I mean, anyone can do them. It's just the time frame that's
I guess so. Well, I was like full push-ups without going down to my knees. That was why I was like, I wonder if I could still do that. I can actually.
I mean, this week I'm just like, I'm in a run now, post Lauren being away of like, I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m. This is just ridiculous. What am I doing? Yeah. I'm just sitting up gaming, like nothing important, like go to bed.
I hate that jet lag makes me a better person. I hate that like I came back from the UK and I picked up a lot of bad habits and stayed up late. And then when I got back, I literally could not stay up past, 9 p.m. I went to bed early. Yeah. And I woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, you feel amazing. You're like, oh, I wish this jet lag could last forever, that I'm so unbelievably tired at 9 p.m. that I can't do anything else but
I was
sleep.
doing that too last time I came back from the UK. I was like just up early, going to the like early morning gym classes and just being like, man, this is actually a pretty good way to live. Yes. Maybe I'll keep this going. And like I'm just in the, I'm just in the zone
I'll stay
now.
Here, yeah.
And then you just get a little, you get that little bit more leeway where you're like, maybe, I'm not tired at 11 p.m. I'll just keep this riding, and then you just reset immediately.
And then you're back to reality and you have to book another flight to the UK to get yourself back on track.
Maybe I need to be one of those weird people that works here, like is here, but my job is in the UK. So I'm just on a complete like nocturnal time zone.
I need to force myself to have something in the morning. I'm not going to just get up.
Sorry, babe, got a meeting at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Got to hop on a work call.
That's the lifestyle we want.
I'm also just like, and again, this is like, this is all, not to make excuses, like this is all me, but Lauren doesn't eat gluten, so a lot of like us ordering in or dining out together is kind of based around that. And so there's all these places that I'm always seeing advertised that are like really full-on pizzas that do not do a gluten-free option.
Gluten are us. And you've also been looking at that like every time. Just like, we love gluten. Oh, damn it.
I mean, I'm happy to, like you do feel lighter and, like better, like following that diet. But I mean, it is in all the best stuff. And so I just, anytime she's out or away, I just have this window where I'm like, this is my time to get in all the gluten. So I'm just eating appallingly, staying up until 2 a.m.
I feel like gluten is the intolerance as well that you always forget about. Like if someone's allergic to nuts, you like know that. I feel like I always have that in the back of my mind. But when like my sister is gluten intolerant, and I've known that for years, and she's been gluten intolerant for so long, and I'll be like, should we get some cheese? I got some cheese and crackers. And she's like, I can't eat that.
Yeah,
and
I do the same
thing. It slips
thing.
my mind.
What about this? I can't eat anything on that menu.
Pasta?
Fair.
All of the food. All of it.
Especially when it's like, so what happens to you when you have it? It's like, oh, I feel just like it really just saps me, and I feel really like cranky and low energy. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, isn't that what it's meant to do?
Yeah.
That's me after every meal.
That's chippies, yeah.
That's called no portion control, where you just eat until you feel violently unwell.
Yeah.
Even the healthiest thing is bad for you if you just put away 10 kilos of it.
You heard it here first. Tommy Daslow thinks people who are celiac are just...
They're making it up.
Taking the piss.
Just write a to-do list. It's just an excuse.
Exactly.
Something I would love to know if you are any good at. This is a thing that I've realized that I should learn to get better at is, are you good at, if someone makes you an offer, are you good at following up on people's generosity?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I'll give you my case study.
Give me an example, and I thought of an example, but I don't know if it's exactly what you're saying.
Let me know what you would do in this scenario. So I've just recently moved studios into this into this building that's in this kind of like, it's this fairly trendy little compound area of like offices and some like restaurants and cafes and stuff, and there's like quite a trendy little wine bar in there that I've never been to. And I was walking through the courtyard of the building the other day, and a guy came up and was like, oh, hey, I'm a fan. I work in there at the I'm a chef in at the wine bar. You know, if you ever want to come in, it'd be my pleasure to treat you. I'm like, oh, thanks. And I've never been there, and I'd love to go there. But then I now don't know how to follow up on that. Like, it seems insane to go in and just be like, hello, I'm here for my free meal, thank you. And just like, you don't even know if that guy's necessarily working that night, you know.
True. I think that's an awkward one. But because he came up and approached you, I feel like you should have in that moment gone like, oh, what's your number or something? I'll give you a text if I'm in the area.
I just ask for his phone number.
Ask for his phone number.
Out.
So I reckon you go like, oh yeah, like I'll message you first because I don't want to just pop in.
Do you want to be my best friend?
Yeah. But then if you ask for their number, then they don't have your number. Or just be like, oh, send me a message on Instagram. Yeah. And then you're like, then I'll hit you up if I'm keen. Like, oh, I'd love to come in on this day. The problem is you have to kind of follow up in the moment.
You have to latch it. You have to, especially because like I'm especially bad at it when it's something like I'm just kind of walking along in my own world. You know what I mean? And he's kind of approached me. So I was like, oh, now I'm in an interaction.
His way to approach you as well.
Yeah.
What I was worried about is that your example would be someone has made an offer and they clearly did not want to follow through on that offer.
I mean, that might be this.
Someone's like, oh, you're in town. Oh, let me know if you need a ride to the airport.
Sure.
And then you actually like 2 weeks later go, okay, so my flight's at 3. Like that feels.
Yeah.
Like
when you say to someone like, yeah, you can always crash if you need, and then they're like, I actually do need a place to stay, and you're like, oh.
And then I'm doing this 6-week course. I could crash for it might end up being 2 months. Yeah. But I do my dishes and stuff. So
now that I think about it, I actually don't really ever want someone else just in my house.
I hate it. I think I am too nice. I had someone who I barely knew, and maybe I'm nervous about saying this because she won't listen, it's fine.
Yeah.
But someone I barely knew. You know how some people I think there are people, I don't think I'm like extra nice, but I am so afraid of not being nice that I don't say no really ever.
Yeah.
And so this girl who I barely knew was like, I'm doing a course in Melbourne. I think I mentioned in passing randomly that we love having guests to come stay in our family. And she's gone, it's so hard to find like, short-term stays and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, kind of thinking maybe it'd be like a week or so.
Yep.
2 months in my house.
2 months?
2 months in my house. And my boyfriend got upset because she was ruining his favourite spatula. And it was just...
How?
It was just... Well, it was awkward because it was like, I hate talking about money as well. So I was like, at that point, if you're staying for 2 months, you would expect like contributing in some way.
Again,
she's
this
a
is like
flatmate
there's
at this
no
point.
way this woman, if she gets offered the free meal
Yes,
at
it
this
would-
wine bar,
yeah.
she's then in there taking a free meal every night of the week. She
And
does not have these
there's
hesitations at
people
all.
that, there's people that will try and make themselves not present, so they will clean a lot. They will make themselves, or they'll offer to pay money, for example. It was a lot of her asking me if she should do those things, and me feeling so anxious to say yes that I was like, so she'd be like, "Oh, should I be cleaning?" I was like, well, now you're putting it on me to ask you to clean, and it's just now a chore.
Like if you were in an Airbnb, for example, you would be both giving them money and you would be expected to clean up after yourself.
Exactly.
So if you sort of took that as the baseline,
She's like, do you want me to sort of contribute to bills? And I was sort of thinking, well, probably more than bills, but I don't know how to say it because you've left the baseline at just bills. So now I can't ask for more than that.
Oh, those people. And then you're like, let's say you did go, yeah, chipping in for some bills would be great. And then, not to say that she's necessarily like this, but it does seem that there's a link to this mindset then of the person that is breaking down so what is your monthly internet bill? And then they do the maths on the number of hours they've been in the house. You know what I mean? It's not just hey, here's $50 for, the month or whatever, assuming it'd be 80-ish or whatever. A full, there are people that sit down, the people that if they owe you money for a split bill or a birthday present, they go to the cent. They go down to the 1 cent.
I have a friend like this, and she's getting so much better, I think. Over time she's getting better, but she is one of those people that will try and save to the cent. She's my best friend, and I've told her this to her face, so I'm fine saying it on the podcast. But man, she would save money in such a funny way that I want to put it in a sitcom. She found out that the next bus stop that was 800 meters down the road would save her 30 cents a day. So she would push scooter to the next bus stop every single day with a push scooter to save 30 cents a day. In the theory being that over the course of a year, she would save a certain amount. She would buy a liter of milk and because she was I don't really drink that much milk, but I just want milk in my coffee.
Yeah.
And so she'd put it in an ice tray and she would take a cube of milk ice and put it in coffee in the morning.
I kind of love that for how insane it is.
I know, that's what I love as well. Well, I think you have to be that insane. There's no middle ground.
And it is these people that it's incrementally, it adds up.
But there's something kind of beautiful.
I'm too scared to even
that.
Chase up a free meal that I'm being offered. I don't have it in me to be 30 cents. It's not worth bothering.
There's something kind of infectious about that, feeling so happy to save money that I loved about that.
Yes.
Because I would go visit her in uni and she'd go, did you know you can freeze cheese? And she says it with
that's actually
the most excited thing I've ever heard.
That's a really good point. I've never really thought of it like that of life is hard. Life is full of just around us. There's so much negativity in the news. There's difficulties in your own life. And we're all looking for ways to just extract little bits of joy throughout the day and the week. And for some of us, that's engaging with our hobby or catching up with friends. But if you're someone who really gets a boner over saving 50 cents, that's actually so manageable. That is so easy for you to build into your day.
Totally.
Moments where you can just get so much satisfaction out of I had every time you have a little frozen cube of milk, you just get to rack up the mentally do the maths in your head.
I could buy 3 liters. I could just put them all in the ice. I just put it all in the ice tray. It's I kind of love it, but I think that's because I love her as a person.
Sure.
And I think if someone I didn't like was like that, I'd be get a grip. Yeah. Get out of my life.
If they were staying with you and not offering to chip in, I got to say crashing with someone for a weekend if you're down for a wedding or a gig or whatever, but I'm studying. I'm doing her course.
I feel I want to say how little I know her, but I don't want to say that because I don't want it to reveal who she is. But I'll tell you afterwards and you will probably find it funny.
Yeah. Oh, is it someone I know?
No, it's not someone you know. No, sorry. It's not someone you know. Just in terms of the relationship
just the way they
to
came
me.
into your life?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, now I'm trying to this happens all the time on podcasts. Someone starts to tell a story and they get to the really spicy detail and they're like, I'll tell you off air. And guess what? With my brain, you know what happens? I never remember to ask off air.
Okay.
I think you and I have done that to each other on both sides when we've been on podcasts.
Probably.
One of us has had to text and follow up and be 3 days later be like, hey, by the way, who were you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, that's why I think I am a good person to gossip to.
Yeah,
because I will not remember any gossip. So
for me, it's when I'm then getting down to editing the episode and I'm going back and I'm like, God damn it, we never had that conversation off air.
It's like you do not want to tell gossip to Ray O'Leary because he keeps a mental Rolodex, a dossier of all gossip. But I will go like, I've completely forgotten that. I did not remember that at all.
Interesting. I went to Ray's house the other day because he did something for my show, and now I'm thinking,
what did you?
Was I a bit loose-lipped?
Oh no!
Yeah. What did I?
That is in a group chat already. Don't you worry.
Interesting. I don't think I. Yeah, I think I kept it pretty professional.
I think that's my main piece of gossip to anyone who asks for gossip is that Ray O'Leary is a big gossip.
Okay, yeah, interesting. You wouldn't pick it.
You wouldn't. That's why he gets it.
That's why he gets in.
That's how he gets it.
All right. Well, he's a good one to extract. Maybe I'll text him now and be like, hey,
totally.
Mel just told me 80% of a story about this person. Can you just tell me who it is? Because I can't be bothered waiting until the end of the podcast that we're currently on to find it out.
He is grateful for this person because 2 months earlier he stayed with me and was annoying. But this person was way more annoying. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
and
he's
now
got
this
a free
person
ride.
might hear this and be like, they've got to bring someone into your life that's going to outdo them.
They do. They need
But this is the thing. I mean, yeah, we have the same thing. We have like an office / spare room that's got like a fold out bed in it. So the whole room has been designed to have people to stay.
Definitely, yeah.
And then each time someone does stay, I'm like, this fucking asshole.
Get out of my life, Mum.
The absolute gall of my mother-in-law to be here from another state, taking us up on our offer.
Yeah, she's sleeping in my office. Yeah.
So you and I have been doing a little bit of writing together on our festival shows. We have a kind of a strange amount of crossover, which I would not have expected.
It's an odd thing. I guess we're just like similar stages of life, maybe, and then just like when you're writing a show, you're kind of just grappling with your stage of life, and I guess we're just in it together. Yeah,
you're like a decade younger than me. So who is that? Who is that sadder for to be at the stage of life?
I'm an old soul, I think, is what we're saying.
Yeah, you're here in a cardigan. Yeah, it all makes sense. It's all stacking up.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into your some of the things that you filled out in this survey. I'm going to have to remind myself on these notes because you filled out the survey 20 minutes ago.
I had to do the survey. I was in Canberra.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
18-year-old nephew to buy an iPhone. So it's very important.
Well, that's something that you brought up. You were. Do you mind? Are you okay to talk about this? You were.
Yeah, I think so.
You were sort of asked to give him some guidance for the next phase of his life.
Yeah, no, just more sort of like he's just in that stage of life, when you've got like younger members of your family and you're kind of like, I'm an auntie, but I'm only like 10 years older than him. So it's kind of like an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So he's just, just finished school and like, what am I going to do now? But he's in like grindset.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to be a millionaire and I am going to drive a Ferrari. And I don't know how to offer advice in that way at all. And I feel like a million years old when I talk to
I love this thing that's been set up of like you can be jacked to the absolute wazoo, I believe is the technical term for it, and be a billionaire. And it's like you can either spend all day in the gym or you can spend all day on, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how realistic it is to be able to do like both of these things at once.
And I feel bad for his generation, I think, because they have this level of guilt that I think is brought on by COVID, that like they feel like their life, they've missed a little chunk of life and they're playing catch up.
Yeah.
And so I think that's contributed so much to like kids who were in high school during COVID that he said to me, he's like, I wish I started a business in COVID. And I was like, you were 13. You were a teen, like you were a tween.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to
navigate that with him.
Don't feel bad about not working hard.
I'm trying to think like
child.
what kind of dumb shit I would have thought when I was like 18. I mean, I'd started doing stand-up then, so I guess I
started doing stand-up as well. And I think I was sort of just thinking, I think because they're all online and the business mindset is like have a business that is like 100% online so that you can work with anyone, but then you don't have anything like actual tangible in real life. That could be quite isolating. I feel.
Like, do you find it interesting like getting to a point where you know, you as you grow up, you have like the generations above you are always like bemoaning like this fucking generation and all this stuff, and you're like, get over it, grandpa. And then you get to a point where you start to have the frustrations about the people who are a little younger than you, and you're like, oh God, this is how
I
it
don't know
starts.
how to and it's a strange one because like he has like 50,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah,
like,
right.
He's actually doing pretty well.
What's he do?
He
Like
just does like Fitspo, and he does like
right.
Honestly, follow Jacob Souster fitness journey if you want to. Like
let's blow him up even further off the back of this pod.
Nah, he'd love this, I think. And he'll do like, he had a video get like 5 million views, and it was just like, this teen just dropped the secret to life. Like he's got that kind of content.
Stuff. Yeah,
and I love
it
because I think at the very least he's like working really hard, and he's doing a lot, and he's got the motivation that he wants to do this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I want to champion it and go, that's sick.
Good
You're
for
not
you.
like sitting around. And he's like, he doesn't drink. He's like, all my friends are drinking, and like I've given up. He's like, I drank too much at school. I'm like, oh, you're already like on that end of the
He's
the mountain.
really accelerating his life.
Yeah,
He's on some Benjamin Button shit. He's living life in reverse. Yeah,
but I don't know. I was like, he's a cool kid, and I'm like trying to not be.
It's hard though, because like a lot of that stuff that you see that's popular on TikTok and Instagram about the real like hustle grind mentality. Again, there's always been a version of this. It's real like eat, pray, love, real like digestible kind of stuff. That one thing that's been driving me insane lately, and I don't know why I've seen so much of this, is like artists sharing some form of like speech about like, don't wait for the gatekeepers, man. Just do your thing. Yeah. Don't wait for the industry. Just do your thing and let them play catch up. And you know who's always sharing those? People who got a fucking look in from the gatekeepers. It's like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? I don't want to hear it from someone
You're saying this from the other side of the gate.
100%.
You're closing the gate behind you and saying, don't let me stop you.
You sharing this video isn't you like being altruistic. This is just like, it's annoying. It's like, just acknowledge that there's some luck that's gone into this.
Oh, hell yeah. I sort of stumbled in at the perfect time for when they were like, hey, it's kind of crappy that we only have one woman per comedy panel show. Shit, who's anyone, anything's like,
they don't even have to currently live in the country.
Exactly, please. I was like, when I started hosting the Cheap Seats, I was the only woman hosting a comedy show in Australia. And I was like, this is crazy. Yeah. This is like nuts. But I felt like the timing of my career, it was very convenient for me. And so I'm not going to sit here and go like, I'm not going to say I didn't work hard. I'm not going to say that. Sure. But I'm also not going to say that it was no luck and it was 100%. And if someone put in the same amount of work as me, then they would have got there. I
don't know what the say. I think I'm going to butcher what the actual quote or saying is, but it's like, you've got to work hard and be prepared for when the luck strikes. You've got to be in a good position to be able to capitalize on it. You've got to have that. You can't just do nothing and rely on the luck, because then you'll be shithouse at the job.
Sometimes when I see the people complaining the most, I think, about gatekeepers, people who are the loudest about that, I do look at their comedy and their work ethic, and I think, you haven't really done much to even get anywhere near it. Sometimes I think like people who create their own, like I also say this as I'm like, sometimes I think I don't want to make the perception like I was a woman at the right time and I just got handed a job because I'm a woman, because I think about it, I'm like, like when I was 16, I had a Tumblr, I had 200,000 followers. Yeah. And there were no gatekeepers there, and I obviously knew what to do, and I was able to like build an audience and come up with jokes, and I got that way through no sort of handouts because I was at school.
Yeah, but also like people like, your audience keeps growing.
Yeah.
The Cheap Seats is incredibly popular. And so if it was just that you got handed it because you're a woman and you were fucking no good, then the numbers would speak to that. Like people would tune in, or they'd come and see you live and be like, this chick sucks.
So I'm trying so hard to be like a good feminist, but also not like a self-hating feminist. Right. It's just like,
well, you were saying one of your superpower is that now you're going to have to go like true like layman description here, because this is how far away I am from knowing anything about this. You can the digits of pi.
Yes, I say that as if like as a superpower. It literally when I was at school, and I think maybe my superpower is actually more my competitive nature.
Okay.
Well, in everything but comedy, to be fair. I don't really feel very competitive in comedy, but maybe because I'm at the top.
Maybe because you're already winning. Yeah. No, it's
like,
weird. It's like it's hard to be kind of competitive with art in the sense that like you want to get success and stuff, but then even just like on a gig, there can be so many. If you just want to get the most laughs all the time, it's like some crowds just like different people, different amounts, and like
I was talking about this to two quite different comics, and one of them agreed with me, I think, in the sense that like I love sport, I love games, I love competition, and I love board games and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore I use that as an outlet for all of that feeling. And so
okay.
like I'll get on the netball court and I'll take it much more seriously than like I'm not trying to like big up someone in a green room and be like, oh, I'm going to destroy tonight. Like I'm going to win the lineup. And I think I get all of that energy out there. And so that means I feel like at the very most, I think, I don't know, I just like when I'm in the comedy scene, I don't necessarily feel like jealous very much, maybe in the early stages of my career, but these days, like if someone got like an incredible opportunity, I like look at Ursula and I go like, that's so cool that she's in a movie that Adam Sandler made.
Yeah.
Maybe now she's just like forged the path for me. So that's like an incredible thing. It's like it rises all ships. The only reason I got on Have You Been Paying Attention is because Ursula was so good at it. And they went like, hey, in New Zealand, they've got some good comedians. And so it's like, and then Ursula was the first one. And then I followed in her wake.
Yeah,
and then
right.
like we've all just kind of been living this little wake for our fellow New Zealanders.
You heard it here first. Kind of pregnant too.
Yeah.
Ursula out, Bracewell in.
Yeah. And so I don't know. So I kind of feel like, at least in the comedy industry, it feels like the bigger comedy gets, the more exciting and the more opportunities that they end up becoming.
I have no kind of competitive nature, even like playing board games or video games or anything. I'm like it's the journey. I'm like happy to be. It's the fun of playing whether you win or lose. But I will say there is part of me that I think like maybe a little more streak of competitiveness would be like an asset to me in terms of like chasing things more or putting myself out there more. So maybe I should try and give myself 6 months or whatever where anytime like do more online gaming, and anytime I play and I lose, I am just fucking filthy.
I am I'm competitive in an unattractive way, I think, when I play video games and play sport in a way that I'm not proud of how I act.
So do you think that there's people that you've played netball against and with that they could really turn a buck selling their story to the trash mags about Bracewell going feral on the netball court?
I think I could defend myself, but I comment a lot. And so especially when I'm playing mixed basketball, I will always comment on the dudes because they don't pass to the women, and I will bring that up.
Oh, sure.
I'll go, the selfish guy's got the ball. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, he's not going to pass it. He's not going to pass. He's going to shoot. Guys, defend him. He's going to shoot. He's not going to pass to the women. And I can't turn that off. Like and I'm not like someone who's like would say that to someone at a bar. I would be so scared to like bring up something that I disagreed with. I will be a pussy in a conversation and I will not say what I believe. But when I'm on like playing sport, I am the best feminist you've ever seen. But also mainly driven by I want to win and I want to get in his head.
Sure.
And I think he'll think, oh shit, oh man, she thinks I'm a sexist. I'm going to pass to the woman who's never played before.
The feminism is just a happy side effect.
And I block the shit out of that woman. I do. I say, you don't get a shot here, miss.
Not on my court.
Yeah, exactly.
How do the men take that? Is there any? I imagine that's pretty hard to come back to. Like if you're saying, "Oh, the selfish man." Oh well, why don't you shut up, you bitch?
But I feel guilty at the end because at the end you shake their hands and you go, "Good game, well done." And you know, when you're the team that's won by 30 points, you become punching down.
Yeah,
and so when I go around, I'm like, oh, it was a bit heavy out there, wasn't it? But
just a bit of fun, isn't it? Got to keep yourself active.
I know.
Yeah.
It is. I need to pull it back. But the problem is, if I pull it back there, you'll see me in a lineup throwing someone's notes into a fire. So
just going out before someone who you don't like and just absolutely scorching the earth so that they can't do well.
I was second to last on the gala, and Sarah Pascoe, she's like, I think that's the worst slot on the gala, by the way.
Second to last?
Second to last. You're not the last.
Yeah.
but they're like, there's 2 more to go. There's like, you're just kind of, you get all of the tiredness, but not the like excitement that this is the final one. Sarah Pascoe suggested
I'd still happily take it, by the way. Now, Tommy, you can do the gala this year, but there's one condition and you're not going to like it. I'm sorry, guys. If it's second to last, I actually don't think I want to do it because from what I hear, it's really tough. So I'm going to take a pass on this one.
This is the
I'm going to call you bluff and hope that you'll come back to me next year and offer me a better spot.
I know. You're so right. I sound like a total bitch right now.
No.
But I do think there's an element of like, when you feel like you're consistent enough at comedy and you don't have any parameters, you're not like a really alternative comic. I do think they're like, well, you can handle it. You can go into that
like
slot,
any gig. Like if you have been around long enough, you will probably be put on later, and it just is hard. People are tighter. It just is harder. Even just like doing your festival show later on in the night. Like if you get that like 9:30 slot, it's tough.
And then there's people going, "Oh, you got a slot, did you?"
Yeah, exactly.
No, so Sarah was saying, she was like, what you should do is act like you're the final act.
Oh, yeah.
So be like, thanks so much for donating to Oxfam, everyone. This has been an incredible night.
Give it up for your MC.
And then Tommy Little has to come out and do his set as people are grabbing their bags and trying to leave.
Take your empties back to the bar, everyone.
Exactly.
Safe drive home.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? I'll just wait here up on stage while you all leave.
Honestly.
I'll just kind of wait. I just want to see you all out. Thanks, everyone. You're starting the curtain
I
call.
make myself the final spot. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
I think mentally just like going, I'm actually the headliner. There's not a person after me.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to know something so lame? My dad came to a really early festival show that I did, and he was like, emailed me the next day and was like, that it went great last night. You had people in the palm of your hand. And he was like, this is so corny, but he was like, I want you every night before you go on stage to think to yourself, I am as big as Jerry Seinfeld. And before long, that'll be the case. And you know what's really interesting is like, this is so dumb, but every time I like actively remember to like think that to myself before a gig or a show or whatever, it just does go better. It's the weirdest thing. Like I don't always remember to do it, but sometimes if I'm like, stressing a bit or first night of a show or whatever, or something where it feels like there's a lot of pressure on it. Yeah. If I get that in my head, it like, and it's not even like Jerry Seinfeld is like my favorite comedian of all time or anything.
But do you know what I mean? But like, I think the spectrum of success, sometimes we will only look up and we don't necessarily see how far we've come.
Right.
And so like, this is going to sound even more corny, but there may be someone listening to this podcast who's like starting comedy and going, before their show, they're going, I'm as big as Tommy Dassolo. And
I'm as good at podcasting as Tommy Dassolo.
But like you have built like this big audience and you've done all this stuff that like sometimes, I don't know, we can get like tunnel vision and look at, especially like we're talking about gatekeepers and blah, 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 and how so rich and everything. But, you are proof that you have done all of this amazing stuff.
Sure. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Who cares? What the fuck is pie?
When I was at school, pie was written. This is how I should have known I had ADHD.
Sorry, I shouldn't have shut. That was very kind of you. Thank you. That's very nice.
Well, I just think I really love rewarding hard work, and I think when I see people work hard, I am like, I don't know. I want to champion them more.
I think it's a bit too like in comedy. As I say this so fucking often these days. As I get older, it's just like anyone who's just doing their thing. You know what I mean? Anyone that you can tell gives a fuck, is putting in, is backing themselves, and is just trying,
totally.
just putting the effort into like their thing.
Totally,
you got to give it up.
There's like people in New Zealand who have just spent their whole career just getting better rather than trying to improve. And then I look at people that started at the same level as that person and they are like gigging every night and they're going out and they're like chatting to people. And there's like this one guy in New Zealand comedy, Keegan Govind is his name. I don't know.
He gets named.
I'm not saying it as a negative thing because I think he's someone who like would have started like really trying to find his feet at the beginning.
Sure.
But he was like hustling and he was like, there would be, I don't know, like a US comic that's got like a big podcast but like has somewhat of an audience in New Zealand. He'd be messaging that person being like, I'd love to meet you. I'd love for you to like, I'm going to try and get you on the spot and, I'd love to open for you. And he gets those gigs and he actually like works and hustles for it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a balance of like people who are like 100% hustle and like 2% talent.
Sure.
That like sometimes that's like kind of irritating.
It's interesting.
You have the talent and the hustle, you do have to do that stuff. And I really like when people do. And they don't just sit there thinking that like they're going to do a gig in front of 100 people and there's going to be a talent scout there that's going to go, I want you to be on a TV show. No, like I think you have to work. I worked like volunteered at a radio station for 6 months because I thought I wanted to work in radio.
Yeah.
And then when they had a job open up as a producer, I was like the first in line for that job. And then everything sort of flowed on from there. But like it starts with just having to do something. You're
so right.
Waiting.
Because like there's so many like people in the industry who I'm sure have come up in one of Ray O'Leary's group chats of like it's the story like, do you hear this person? They asked this person if they could they put their hand up and it's like kind of seen as a bit of an embarrassing story and it's like that's all anyone's doing. It's just like the difference is just how much you like that specific person is all that plays into it.
Totally. And I'm sure I've sent cringy emails and I'm sure I've asked for things that I would never see the light of day. My email to my manager, Beck Sutherland, was the meekest thing ever. That she mocks me for it to this day. I messaged her. I was like, hello, I'm a comedian from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And this is my website. I'm looking for management and I've heard wonderful things about you. She's like, I know who you are. Relax.
My TV show is on 8:30 p.m. on
like
Wednesday
before
nights.
the
If you'd ever be
came
interested.
out, and I just didn't know. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just, but you have to kind of like lay on your sword and do cringy things. You have to climb Cringe Mountain. Honestly, you have to climb Cringe Mountain, and you're free.
You
are free from like if you don't stop caring if people are screenshotting your stories and putting them in a group chat. Oh, you'll feel so alive.
God, we should start a group or a live performance night called Cringe Mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually, it's not called the Melbourne International Comedy Festival anymore. It's called Cringe Mountain.
It's just
because that's all it is. Please come to my show.
Exactly.
Please help me pay my rent.
Cool ways of showing that they don't give a shit about their ticket sales and they're not refreshing it every 2 seconds. They're saying, oh, my shows are selling fast, better get in quick. No, they're refreshing and they're freaking out and they're going, oh, God. And if someone puts a post up going, you know what, ticket sales are dire this year, I'd love for you to come, and they use that as a method, all power to them. That's great. Good on you for being honest. We're all lying. We're all lying. There is no one coming to my show this year. I'm lying. They're not sold out.
Now, what is pi?
Well, Tommy, if you want to work out the circumference of a circle, it's quite a handy number to know.
Okay.
It's do you want me to rattle off pi?
But when people say how many digits, because it's like, so it's infinite, right?
It is infinite. I don't know it to infinite.
Yeah, but
when I was at school, it was written on the walls in my maths class. And so me and my friend Jodie, as I referenced earlier, my friend that's good with money, we kind of made it sort of competitive, trying to learn more digits of pi. Right. And so I got to the point where I was like maybe 5 digits more than her, and she gave up. And so then I think I learned about 60 or so.
60?
Yeah.
And do you still have that in there?
Still in there, ma'am.
Yes.
I learnt it up until this is the first yardstick I got to was where you first hear the iteration of 69.
Okay.
That's how far I got. That was like maybe I think that's like 30 or 40 in.
And are you regularly, you ever trying to get further on?
I've tried to incorporate in my show this year, spoiler alert. And so now I feel like I want to learn more. But then I think there's also, it is not an impressive skill, I think, because it is just memory. And if anyone spent the time to do it, they could do it. It's like remembering a phone number, right?
Yeah,
if you just remembered 10 phone numbers in a row, you would be further than I am. And so it's kind of a similar thing.
How many phone numbers do you reckon you remember now off the top of your head?
My mum's, my dad's, mine, my old landline.
I don't know if your own counts.
I would say Pizza Hut.
Oh, yeah. These are all the same ones for me. I don't reckon, Mum, Dad, me, our old home phone.
Yeah.
And really that's it.
Yeah.
There were like best friends of mine growing up that I used to know, but now I don't know the numbers.
Yeah, I think people have changed numbers. I know I know my phone number now, my Australian phone number and my old New Zealand phone number, which is not active. So I can just say it now, 021. I don't know if it's active or not. But
yeah, someone's got it.
Yeah, someone's got the first one at least.
I was in the States and I got a SIM card while I was there and it was like I kept getting all these texts from people wanting to buy drugs. Like the number had previously been a drug dealer's number.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, I'm using it to just kind of like, meet up with people over there. But then every now and then just like all these texts are coming
I'll
in
give
like
you $100 for a gram, man.
Yeah, are you still the guy for? And I'd just be like, yeah, man, meet me at this.
You take the money and you run. And that's why we don't wait for gatekeepers. We make our own opportunities and we scam people that are looking for drugs.
Exactly.
And that's the way to do it.
It's a victimless crime.
Yeah,
except for the victims.
Yeah.
So you were saying you're trying to, what is it? You're trying to remember all the.
I want to know all the countries.
You want to know all the countries.
I want to know all of them.
Because I was in Vietnam a couple of years with a friend and we were talking about, I can't remember, we were like, it was, 1 a.m., classic 1 a.m. conversation. We're like, how many countries do you think there are? And my guess was like so insanely low. Like I thought there were like 11 or something. And there's what, like 50-something, 40-something?
What do you mean countries?
Countries, yeah.
There's way more than that.
Really?
There's hundreds and hundreds.
Okay.
I think there's like, I actually don't know
I've
how
done
many
it
there
again.
are. But I've done a test. I'm trying to learn right now, the 100 most populous countries. And that's not covering even half. I think there's like 500, 600 countries.
Well,
I'm scared of saying that now because I'm trying to learn every country and I don't even know how many there are.
You say you come close to saying like something that you think is a fact on a podcast and then all week
But there are countries that you don't even think are countries, like the Vatican City, like these weird little like tiny little countries or things that aren't quite countries. But
we started this game on the trip of like we were then at the pub. We were like, all right, let's try and get them all down, and we're like spitballing, writing them all down. You get your gimmies. It's like it's pretty easy for the first.
I think there are 50 countries in Africa.
Oh, okay. Maybe
not quite that many, but there is a lot because there's 2 countries in South Africa.
Yeah, sure.
There's like 3 countries in South Africa.
Sure.
There's maybe not 50 in
we had
in
this
Africa,
big list going, and then it would be like, we'd be in the back of a cab, and someone just all of a sudden would have one pop in, gets added to the list, and the goal was to try and have the list filled out by the time we finished.
But look at America, how there's 50 states.
Yeah,
like that's how many like big areas you can fit just in America. And then you look at Europe and that's like lots of
it's all, I think that's what kickstarted the conversation. It was just So what's your method for getting this down?
The stupidest way. So me and Sean, I was trying to practice it in bed last night.
Yeah.
And Sean, my partner, he has proper reasons of how he remembers them. So he'll go, oh yes, of course that's Syria because there's that trade route that goes through here, and he's like got an actual thing about like, oh yes, and that's the Panama Canal, and then that obviously leads into like he knows all of the countries based on like their place in the world. Mm-hmm. I go, hey, Somalia kind of looks like a hook, sort of like a pirate. And I remember it that way.
Yeah.
And I will have like the stupidest ways of remembering. I know, like for Africa, it's quite hard. A lot of the countries, some of them sound similar. So you're like Zambia and Zimbabwe that I always mix up. But then, you'll look at one and I'll go, why do I know that one? I'm like, oh, it's a bow tie. And Mali, she wears a bow tie. She's a woman in my head. And so that's how I will remember it.
But you need that combination. I'm sure you're filling in the gaps that Sean doesn't have, like the trivia question for.
Yeah. But it's amazing, like, because I've always been bad at geography. And so I've always just surrendered to the fact that because I'm bad with directions, I thought I'll never learn geography. And it took me like maybe an hour to learn all 50 states and where they are. And whilst they're not like, I don't think they are perfectly welded into my brain, but with enough, like if I was to look at it like maybe once a month, I reckon I would be able to have it perfectly welded into my brain.
Yeah, like, okay.
It's like you can learn it really quickly with mnemonics as well. I learned all the presidents with a mnemonic.
Yeah, I'm so bad with geography and like have never done anything about it, and like it's not learning pi. It's just
I guess
read up on some different places.
I know.
The thing that makes me go like I got to do something about this is like what's cool about it is that you can. I feel like because I'm also not great with with history.
History,
and
I'm
you
bad
can
at
pretty
as well.
easily those two things, like you can kind of learn them side by side. It's like,
yes,
I don't really know anything about these borders and all this kind of stuff. I'm sure there's like a
art
story
history
behind that or whatever.
or like musical history.
Yeah.
Or I go olden days all the same time. Like I don't know, like, when you think like, Beethoven and Mozart and you think of Bach and you think of all of classical musicians, you think that they, like Pablo Picasso, the fact that he and Einstein, the fact that we have like photos of Einstein blows my mind. I forgot like that he just like lived around, the nuclear bomb time. And you're Einstein in my head is ancient.
I had that about like Elvis for a long time.
Yeah.
I thought like Elvis was like a caveman.
Yeah.
And then
totally.
the fact that there's like overlap with like the Beatles and like
the photo of Albert Einstein with his tongue poking out, I always thought was like just AI or something, like not even like AI, but just like kind of early memes, just kind of like an edited photo in some way. But like he did just poke his tongue out like that. Yeah. It's crazy.
He was crazy like that.
He was a dude.
So this ties into directions, you said, is something you're quite bad at.
Yes. So like if I am to enter a hotel room, for example, and I exit the hotel room to go to the lift, every single time I'll go the wrong way.
Interesting.
And I think my logic is, and I should just think, where do I want to go? Don't go that way. Yeah. And I would be able to get there. Because like statistically I should get it right 50% of the time. But I get it wrong every time. And I think because I genuinely go, I turned right to get into the hotel room. My brain thinks right. And then as I leave, I turn right. Yeah. And I go the opposite way. Yeah. And so that is just, it's something, I think Geraldine Hickey did a set about it that like I related so much to of like, like my partner, he's good at directions. And when you go, I'm going to go to the bar and you point and he goes, the bar's not that way. And I'm like pointing to the front door. Yeah. Because I got to go outside first. Yeah. And so like in my head, I don't know where anything is. Where are we? I don't know. Yeah. The construction out the front has that makes things more difficult. But where's out the front? Point to it.
That way.
I would have said that way.
See,
I don't know.
I'm good. See, weirdly, I'm good. I remember being a little kid and like we moved house and just instinctively knowing that the direction that my bed was facing in the new house, where that was in relation to like, I remember being really aware like, my bed is, I'm like, this feels weird. Yeah. And I've kind of always had that. You
have a mini map and I don't have a mini map. That is honestly how
You're
I feel
going
like
immersion
in my head.
mode.
I have no mini map.
You've got no HUD.
I don't. I've got no HUD and I can't.
You're Elden Ring.
Vibing. I am just honestly going on vibes and my vibes are always wrong.
No, but this is the thing is like, even with the mini map, I am bad at directions. Like I'll use, it's insane the number of times I've been using maps in the car to direct me and Lauren will be like, where are we? And I'm like, I'm following the map.
I don't know, whatever the
And then it turns out like I've put in our address, which I've put in hundreds of times. Yeah. And for some reason on this one trip, it's like defaulted to putting in the same street name, but that's in like Mooney Ponds or something. Yes. Like, why has this happened? But then she's like, you can't even blame the phone because like you didn't clock at any point along the way here that we weren't going anywhere near our house. I'm like, I put my faith in the map. You think you're being steered in the right direction.
I did that where I accidentally put my map into cycle mode as if I was cycling but I was driving. And so it was trying to get me to drive down the footpath. And I'm like, this can't be right. This is a one-way street. Hold on. Like it was truly the most, I thought someone had like hacked my phone. It was that irritating. It was like, I can't go down that street. It's a fucking bike lane. What's going on?
I kind of do wish it would have been, I mean, not really, but it would have been awesome if you had have killed someone that day and just seeing you up on the stand be like, I had the phone in cycle mode and like
Google told me to do it.
It's the new 12 Angry Men. It's like the jury just like, I don't know, man, you put your faith in the map and if it tells you that you're to go there, you're like, I don't know, we'd all do the same thing.
Gosh,
See, I'm bad with directions, but when I travel with people, I always end up defaulting to being the navigator because I'm the person that's like, oh, I've seen this, this restaurant on Instagram.
Yes.
Like I'm always the one that's got like specific places that they want to set out, especially for meals. I'm like, I don't want to just go anywhere. I want to find like the best spots in the city.
I agree.
So I'm always the one leading the charge. And then invariably the people that you're with, they're always happy to take a back seat.
Yeah.
Because being on a holiday where someone else is doing all the navigating.
I want to choose the cafe. And I've
great.
Googled and I've spent all night trying to find the perfect cafe.
Yep.
And I've got an app called Bean Hunter that shows me the best coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to choose where we go.
Yep.
But if you could just tell us how to get there, that'd be
that'd
sweet.
be a little more
Can I
help
just
would be
show
great.
you the map and then you can figure it out. So I'm not like being antisocial at the front of the holiday going,
Sure.
so we just have to turn down here and then, like
I'm finding the places and I'm navigating, but then I'm getting it wrong. We're taking a few wrong turns.
Totally. And then the pressure on the cafe is a lot higher now that you've done a marathon to get there.
And there's been a point every trip I've been on where the people with me near the end have started to give me a bit of shit about, oh, yeah, look, another wrong turn. And I just lose my mind and go, if you wanted to get off your fucking ass.
Yeah, exactly. If you could choose a cafe, but actually I don't like the look of that one, so maybe I will. Maybe we'll just stick with it.
More than happy to be led around.
This is ramen as well. This place looks pretty good. No.
Yeah.
3.2 rating.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
I think about like the first time I went overseas by myself. It was real like no iPhone. It was like using the little internet cafe bit at the hostel, printing out a map, writing on it, like drawing and just being like and being so limited of like, hey, once I leave the door of the hostel, the places that I'm wanting to hunt out, well, I've got these 3 maps printed out.
Yes.
And then everywhere else I'm just going to kind of find by accident.
Oh, yes. You told me to go to the kitchen because you think I'm a woman and you think that's where I belong. I believe that's how the conversation went.
I just felt like a sandwich before we started recording. I was a little hungry.
But you were like, I was just like, I'll get some water. There's a kitchen just down there. And I was too scared to go far away from the podcast. I didn't want to have to.
Now, I should have gone and gotten the water, I will say, but I was fighting with trying to set up this room as I often do. So as soon as you walked out, I was like, oh God damn it, I should have gone and gotten there some water.
It's okay. No, it was good. It was good for me.
I just want to clear that I did clock it. Not when it counted, a few seconds too late, but I did register at some point.
No, I'm happy to do things for myself. I just can't promise I'll come back.
I'm happy to do things for myself. I just can't.
I just don't know where I am. So
I want to. I'm just unable to.
I do feel like I need a carer at all times. Then I'll wander off and I'll be lost.
But did you? Yeah, you would have had. You would have had the experience of printing off the solid state map.
Yeah, I would print off not the map because even the map I think I would get confused about because I'd go, where's north? Where's the water?
Sure.
Which way am I going down the street? It's hard to tell.
Yep.
But I would print out the directions and I would follow that. So it would say turn left onto the street, travel 1 kilometre and turn right. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think maybe if I learnt with an analog map, I would be better. My mini map might be stronger, but no, it's not. It's the same way I learned music. I hated reading sheet music. And so I would learn to play and remember the song.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than getting better at I could learn sheet music, but it would just be, I'd be slow. My reading age would have been 2.
Yeah.
And so I could figure it out. And then I'd go, okay, that's a C, that's a D, that's an F sharp. I don't know what song I'm playing right now, but it's an odd combination. But
real avant-garde.
I think, okay, I'll just remember that those are the keys in a row. And I could use the music to kind of guide me to be like, oh, I know where middle C is and I know where D. And I sort of know those main ones.
Yeah,
and then the ones in the middle, I would just remember.
You go in muscle memory.
Yeah.
What's the most lost you've ever been?
Oh,
or
man.
Is that too,
I've cried in so many
is
airports,
that like,
I swear to God.
Is that like choosing your favourite
LAX
child?
airport. God, it's the worst place I've ever been. And I just remember my phone dying and crying, trying to get a SIM card in and also my bank at that moment had also for some reason collapsed. And it was the time where you kind of thought, I don't need to bring cash to another country now. You used to always think I need to bring cash just in case anything goes wrong.
Yep.
But you're things don't go wrong anymore. But they did. And so my whole bank, you couldn't use FPOS anywhere. And I only had one bank. I wasn't didn't have a business account and a personal account. I just had BNZ, shout out. And it all fell apart. And I just had no money to like order an Uber. I couldn't even do that. I
Yeah.
couldn't like just not even use my card, but also the card attached to my Uber.
Oh my God.
And I was like lost in LAX, just thinking like, and then
I'm going to die.
then now I know what people say you've got to do is you just get on a random hotel shuttle to just get out of the airport.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's so much easier to figure out where to go from there.
Yeah,
But to
good
get out of
point.
the airport, like I would order an Uber, but it was attached to my New Zealand phone. So they'd try and call me and it wouldn't work.
yeah.
And so I'd just be like, they'll be like, well, I'm going to charge, like, fuck off. Like, how dare you? And so I've definitely been like in airports, just like truly a husk of a woman.
That's just like when you're like, you don't know where you are, you don't know how you got there, you don't know how to get back. Me and some friends were in Naoshima in Japan, the art island. And it's like, it's really like, it's quite not rural, but it's like not a big city. It's just like a few galleries kind of dotted around the outskirts of the island. And then sort of in between where you stay is just like, we were in like a little guest house and we went for a drink somewhere. It was like a Sunday and it's really spread out. There's no like center where there's like lots of restaurants and stuff. And so we're like, oh, we'll have a drink and then we'll go walking and find some dinner. We're walking around. There's just nowhere. We're just on the side of a, just a basically field going, oh, we might have because you come from like Tokyo where you're just able to get dinner at 11 p.m. on a Monday night, everywhere's open, to all of a sudden we're like, and you're on holiday time, so you're like, oh, yeah, it's Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. We might be in trouble here. We're like calling some places that are closed. We've got this like, we don't have reception there. We've been given this like, printed out map from the guest house we're staying at. Can't find anywhere. All of a sudden we're like, we think we've got directions to this place that might be open. We're walking along this street. We're up on this like hill and we can look down and we can see this like long table with people sitting at it and we're like, oh, that must be the restaurant. And we're trying to shout down like, are you open? And they're like waving at us like, yeah, come down. And we're like, oh, thank God. And so we like walk down the hill, we get down there and we knock on the door and it's just someone's house. We're like,
my God.
Is this a restaurant? They're like, no. And we're like, but you like, it had just been some like big family dinner.
Yeah.
And we're like, but you were like waving at us. And they're like, yeah, because you were waving at us. And at this point we're like,
well, could I at least get a bit of karage chicken
that's
or what?
truly what it was. We were like, it does seem like there's a lot of leftovers in there. And like at this point, nothing else on the island is open.
Yeah.
We haven't eaten. We've got nothing back at where we're staying. We barely even know how to get back there. Like it truly was just us, I think, walking past like, I don't know, a vending machine and getting some chips and that being it for dinner. But like the excitement of like, and also looking down, it was this like really nice, like what we now know is a backyard. But at the time was like, oh, look at this beautiful outdoor area that they've got. Oh, and the food looks amazing. Oh, the journey has truly been worth it to just like, can you get off our property, please?
I think what it is as well with navigating is that the people that are good at navigating like to explore, I think.
Yeah.
They want to take their time. And I do think maybe it is an ADHD thing where I feel like I don't have enough time, that I'm like, I just need to get to the place where I need to be and I want to be as efficient as possible to get there. But I've never kind of just gone like, I'm going to go for a walk around the neighborhood. I'm going to walk to this spot and then I'm going to walk back.
No, good point. But I feel like when I do that, I've got really bad instincts.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I'm just going to see where the day takes me.
Yes.
And I'll walk around and I'll be like, this looks like an interesting street down here. 10 minutes later, I'm just in this like barren area of just like industrial estates going like, I really took the wrong turn there.
I
really went. And then you go back and you're looking at the map when you're back in the Ecom and you're like, if I'd stayed on that other street for another 4 blocks, then I would have been, I always turn off too early and end up in just like the worst part of town.
Someone's house for dinner every night.
Yeah, my instincts are always off.
I do love going for a walk and smelling other people's dinners though, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that the best time of the evening to walk? You just
man.
go like,
I went for a run the other night and I copped a fucking I was truly like that in Naoshima. I was like, you should get, if it's in your postcode, I reckon you should get maybe like one. There should be a law where it's one a year. And if you can smell someone's delicious food wafting out of their house, You get to knock on the door and get a little bit.
A little bit. Like just like honestly, a tablespoon.
Yeah, like a little,
I just want to just see what
like
that
the
is.
smallest kind of cup that you can get at Messina. Just a little bit of like.
But I think that my instincts of like smell are bad because I will be like, that is the most delicious thing I've ever smelled. Sean, what are you cooking? He's like, I am just grilling the onions at this stage.
Oh, yeah.
And you just go, oh, like there's something about it that smells like the best meal of all time.
No, Lauren does the same thing. She'll be like, wow, it's smelling so good. I'm like, yeah, this is just butter melting, which does smell great, to be fair.
Totally.
That's why it's such an important part of the meal.
What sort of sorcery are you doing with this cuisine? And it's literally the first ingredient.
I mean, it's like the smell that is like wafting like through the streets.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty much always going to be like a bolognese or a ragu or something of that nature,
totally.
where you just are like, especially when you're out exercising and you're like, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm not being true to myself.
Yeah.
I just want to be on the couch eating a big spag bowl. I don't want to be fucking doing this.
Yeah,
I really did feel like the one I smelt the other night. I felt like, the thing in cartoons where it's like smell is like it's you can see it.
Oh, and you get lifted up.
And it picks you up and it's like carrying you through the air.
It's a hot pie on a windowsill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I need to do more cooking with the window open. I need to instill this kind of jealousy in the neighborhood. Well, thank you, Mel. It's time for me to direct us out of this episode of the podcast.
I'm excited.
What'd you think of that?
That was pretty good. Do you do that every time? Do you come up with a...
Oh, wait. Final question, which I ask people.
Yeah.
If you could now just have if you could have it as a skill, if you could know everything about something, so it can be a skill or a topic or just anything. You snap your fingers and you know everything there is to know about a thing. What is it?
Oh, yeah. I think I would love to sort of have an encyclopedic music knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I love music so much, but I can go, this is my favorite song. Could not tell you what it is. And like I will hear a song and I'm like, I love this song. I don't know what it is, who it's by.
So those
but
things
I know
that are like,
how it makes me feel.
Those internet mysteries of like all these people can remember hearing this song on the radio, but no one knows what it is. That's you with just like, that's you with like Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter.
But I do think it could be, that's the song. I'm like,
what's this?
What is this little number I haven't heard for the last 10 seconds?
That is a bit that I like doing. If you're at a cafe and you hear, I don't know, what's one of the biggest songs of all time? I don't know, like Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
You just get Shazam out. You just like anytime you're in a cafe and you just see the most obvious song.
Oh, we had a Shazam game, which was Shazam with the least amount of Shazams. So like if you can get if you hear a song and you think, I reckon this is so obscure that no one's Shazammed this.
Oh, because it tells you how many times
it will tell you how many people have Shazammed it. And I think I've gotten like 4 digits once. Like, 8,000 people.
If you were more of a Dave Gorman type, this would take over the whole.
Yeah. But it would be like in New
life.
Zealand, it'd be like if you heard it on BFM, which is like student radio, and it's like a local band, then of course, like you can kind of check the system.
But do you think, or I would think my strategy would be something like maybe like what I'm saying, like Hey Jude, for example. Maybe that has the least number of Shazams because like everyone knows that if you pick the most like the biggest songs of all time.
You underestimate how stupid people are.
That's true. Yeah. And I guess there's always, I'm ignoring the fact that there's always going to be young people, a new generation of people discovering this stuff.
When my Spotify Discover Weekly is like, hey, have you heard it? What about the Beatles? I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, all right. Very patronizing. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks heaps, Mel.
Thank you.
And there you go, folks. Melanie Bracewell. Great fun, great chat. Really enjoyed that episode, and I hope you did too. You can get onto patreon.com/howtodoeverything. There is a free tier on there at the moment, which is where you can chime in and let me know what you thought about this episode. Are you a competitive person? Are you someone who is happy to climb Cringe Mountain? I love that term. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm going to really be wheeling that out a lot in my personal life. Have you ever had someone stay at your house for way too long? That is what I would like to know. And are you good at chasing up a free meal? Are you the person who offered me that free meal in real life? In which case, reach out and let me know that it's okay to take you up on that offer. I'm actually recording this while looking out the window at said venue where I was offered the free meal. You can also interact with the show on Instagram at How to Do Everything Podcast. Love getting messages and feedback from people over there. Put little clips up from the show. So, yeah, get on there. Give us a follow if you don't already. Give the show a nice review on your podcast app of choice if you are enjoying it. Thank you for listening. Go and check out Melanie Bracewell, by the way, in her tour, A Little Treat. As I said in the episode, we were kind of doing a bit of work on each other's shows, and hers is amazing. She's great. She's so funny. She's been selling out around the place already, so grab a ticket right now if you can find one. We will be back next week for more How to Do Everything. Until then, take care. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.